Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? Welcome back to another episode of Today's Consciousness, family. Want to make sure that everybody that is tuning in, make sure you like, subscribe, and share with your family and friends that are striving to be on a conscious level. And make sure they like the video and thumb up the video so we can build the algorithms. And remember, every Tuesday we do a thing called Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. That's right, today and at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. What happened and how can we change it and heal it? This is about audience participation. Of course, my surprise guest or one of my guests for today is the one, the only Dr. Alisha Kier. This sister is a magnificent sister, so I can't wait to bring her on with a well-deserved round of applause. Tomorrow, we have our young brother, B. Dell, will be on with us. He comes to King Simon Presents for the first time, May the 14th, and it's going to be at 9 p.m. Young, Chosen, and in Tune. All happening right here on KSP TV Media on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Tell people to subscribe. Next week on Today's Consciousness, we have Tassili Ma'at. Tassili Ma'at will be in the building live and direct. Can't wait to have her in the building. She will be here with us, sharing her wisdom and the things that she's learned over the years. Honored to have these different individuals pop up. Got a lot of special guests coming up in the next on the Tuesdays that are coming up. Also have Brother Sharif and Anail Bey coming in. Also, I just confirmed for him for the next two. As a matter of fact, I got the flyers for that. Matter of fact, let me take this commercial break real quick before I bring her on. Got one more minute. Let me take a commercial break before I bring her on, and so I can get those flyers up also. We'll be right back after this. Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com or Linktree at King Simon the Numeral Base to get all 4 of my books. And of course, that's the Numeral Base for mental stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. Go now. Okay, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Again, just want to thank everybody. It is now 8 o'clock, but before I bring on our guest, our special guest for today, I want to remind you again, tomorrow we have B. Dell, Brother B. Dell coming up. And on the 18th, we got the phenomenal legend herself, Miss Blue, will be in the building with me live and direct, confirmed and consolidated. Boy, I can't wait. You know, we bringing up this divine feminine energy heavy. I'm telling you, we're doing it. We're doing it. That's happening on Sunday, May the 18th. I can't wait because I've been admiring this sister for over 20 years when she had Bobby and Phil and Panic and all of these people on here doing the darn thing. So I can't wait for that. Of course, like I said, Tassili Ma'at will be in the building. And of course, the week after that, we have Sharif Anail Bey coming in the building to lay the law of what happened in the conscious community with the Moors and all of that stuff back in the day, because he was on the battlefield with us back in the day, debating people like Wesley Muhammad and all kinds of stuff. So we was out there doing our due. Brother Reggie, all of that, he was doing his thing back in the day. Also, I want to big up Abundance Child and her new show on WJVSradio.com. And of course, the tribute to Malcolm X is coming up. That's going to be big, 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 big. And it's 100-year celebration of our late, great Brother Omawali, Brother Malcolm X, of course, Al Malik Al-Shabazz, of course. The name Al Malik Al-Shabazz was given to him by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. A lot of people don't even realize that, you know, which is interesting because of what happened between them. So, you know, I found that very interesting. But a lot of things I will talk about. And one more thing, I want to big up one of my sponsors, my other sponsors here, Nina Dunham's publication. Make sure you support her, levinuniversity.com. She got new books called 52 Mirrors and Queen's Code Within Him. So without any further ado, this beautiful sister, she's not only, I've said before, she's born the same day as my grandfather. And when they're born the same day, they say what they mean and mean what they say. So I'm glad to have her on. She's also born the same day as Dr. Khalid's son, the youngest son, Dr. Farrah Gray. He says what he means and mean what he says. As he's gotten older, he is definitely disseminating information. And I see why he has over 1 million followers on his channel. So this sister that we're about to bring up has not only been part of many organizations and have helped many people out to propel their businesses, she was even known as Miss Cruise Lady. She was doing it for Christian community. So she's helped out not only the Christians, Muslims, Moors, Hebrews, Kemetic family. She's just been in and out doing the darn thing, man. And that's why I had to bring her on, because she was like the back in the back room watching, but yet still by the side of people. I got some videos with her opening up for Queen of Four and all that kind of stuff, doing separate things for Dick Gregory and all of that. Let's welcome on the show. She's no stranger to my show. Believe that when I say that. Let's welcome the one, the only Dr. Alisha Kier. What's up, girl? How you doing, sister?
Simon, I'm amazing. How are you?
I am wonderful. Good to see you as usual, my dear. How's the family? How's everything?
Everything is amazing. Everything is amazing. Absolutely.
Everything is beautiful. That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, welcome to this Tuesday, which has an agenda and of course, like I said on the flyer, your flyer and everybody else's flyer, but today's consciousness in the conscious community, what happened and how can we change it and heal it? And I think you as a medicine woman, and let me make sure y'all know what she has to show her some love. I'll put it in the chat. She is not only our guest, she's also a health and wellness medicine woman, and also she's also a what we call a prosperity teacher, also on health and wealth and all of that. And her contacts you could text for prosperity advice and all that. Her number's right there, 770-861-9906. Her Facebook is The Ancient Upper Room. And on IG is The Ancient Upper Room. Her TikTok, The Ancient Upper Room. And you could also spread love via PayPal right there using that email. And you can email at that healatlanta@gmail.com. And her Cash App is $readings for life. Is that correct? Everything is correct, my dear?
It
Just
is.
want to make sure we are showing you love and showing you respect on here. And remember this, you can come in the chat. You can either call in or you can cam up, and I will put the link in there about the bottom of the hour. We'll put the link in there. And please donate to my channel, of course, paypal.me/King Simon, and the Cash App that me and my son share, Brother Shia, my son Shia, inspired by Team Spread Love. Alisha, whew, this is a no holds bar. So wherever you want to speak, if you don't want to answer, say you don't want to answer. But if you do want to answer, we're going with it.
Yes.
Um, let's start off with, if the audience don't know who you are, and I got a lot of new audience members. My numbers are going up because it's about quality people. So quality people are coming to my station and to my my podcast or my broadcast. Please like, subscribe, and share with people that are on a spiritual journey. I don't want you to share it with knuckleheads, although one day they will be on a spiritual journey, and they are on one even as a knucklehead. They are on one. They just sometimes I want you to share it with people that have broken that glass and say, you know what, we bout it, like Master P would say. All right. Tell our audience about yourself, darling, and how were you introduced to consciousness from metaphysics and all of that? Please, let's speak on that
Absolutely,
first.
absolutely. So, Simon, thank you for
Yeah.
having me on your show. I am so extremely grateful. And when you shared with me what you wanted me to share, I'm so excited because what I truly believe is those who are listening tonight, I'm going to save some people some time. Okay. One of the things that our beloved Queen of Ford taught me, she said, I have been married and divorced 3 times. You don't have to do that.
Yes, right.
I've had that lesson. So watch me and I can tell you what not to do.
Exactly.
And so my spiritual journey, that's what I get to share tonight so I can help. There's some little girls and little boys inside of each of us
Right.
that's looking for something.
Right. Right.
And so autumn churn is running around inside of me. A lot of people think they got one inner child. I got a whole romper room. And
Right.
some of y'all aren't even old enough to remember romper room. But look it up. Look it up.
Look it
Okay?
up.
And so I started out, my father joined the Nation of Islam back in the 60s. However,
All right.
Dad did it. Now, I didn't even know, I was at least 6 before I knew that there were any pies beside beans pies. That was in my house, okay? And my mom grew up in the Church of God in Christ, so she was going to do her thing. He wanted to avoid Vietnam.
Right. Right.
So he went to college and then joined the Nation because that was going to make sure he wasn't in Vietnam, right?
Exactly.
And so didn't learn much about Islam. I learned about bean pies and I learned about the final call.
Exactly.
The thing, right?
Yes.
And so I grew up in Christianity, started tithing at the age of 8. And so that's where the money hustle began. The bargaining with God. God, I'm gonna give you 1/10 of my money, and I want you to protect my money. And so anytime I come to you about money, I should be straight because I got you paid up. Right. And it almost teaches you a mafia mentality, right?
Right.
Go ahead now. Because what we know about the Catholic Church is that the mafia channeled their money through the Catholic Church for years. And this is why it became so prosperous. So I'm gonna let y'all hold my money. And so if somebody is unalived, don't look over here at us because we give money to your church. So, right? And so this is really the relationship, and credit to my mother. She started when my brother turned 8, when I turned 8. This is when we could do chores and get paid.
Right.
And so she had a full list on the refrigerator because she knew we were going there. And it showed how much you could make for each chore.
Mm.
House and the outside. When
That's
you when
smart.
I tell you I can do your yard. Little bougie to do it. But if need be, oh yes,
Exactly.
need, right? And
Right.
so she taught me the principle of if you work hard and do a good job, you can get paid for it. And there is no cap on your salary.
Mm.
So whatever we did, she paid us for.
Mm.
And and I'm grateful to that. So her only thing was if I'm going to give you an allowance, I need you to go. They used to have check cash in places,
Right.
and you had to go and get a money order for 1/10 of what it is you had.
Yep.
And so she was like, I'll pay you whatever you earn, but you got to tithe. I'm like, cool. Because I'm 8. So it didn't matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned that as an act of service toward God.
Mm.
And so I learned that I was able to be a money magnet in my mind because I tithe. And that is a principle. Given
Mm.
it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It has nothing to do with a religious system.
Mm.
It has everything to do. That is a law that is cause and effect. And that's something I started doing at the age of 8.
Mm.
And so I stayed in Christianity for 30 years because
Mm.
that's all I knew. I got ordained through 3 different bodies and was preaching and bringing people to Jesus. And
Mm.
I thought that was what I needed to do. And so I will never forget. I met a Moreh, which is a Hebrew Israelite teacher,
Mm.
and he started showing me some things, and I was like, I was appalled. Like,
Right.
no, you not gonna say nothing against my Jesus. No.
Mm-hmm.
So he too was very, very patient, very kind, took time with me. And finally, I was like, whoa. And so I was a Hebrew Israelite for 10 years. I learned
Mm.
so much, learned to read and write Hebrew, speak it, all of those things, and really lived a Torah based life. And
Mm-hmm.
that was 10 years of my life. Actually, at the age of 40, I was going to make Aliyah and
Mm.
move to Israel and
Mm.
live in a kibbutz. Like that was what I was excited about.
Mm.
So I turned 40, and then
It's a lot of
on
years.
December 30th, 2009, my life changed.
Mm.
One of my Hebrew Israelite sisters, who is an attorney for the government, she
Mm-hmm.
called me. She said, Alisha, I need to talk to you. I said, okay, big sis, I'm all excited. And so for 3 days, she drilled me.
Mm.
She began asking me questions that I didn't have answers to
Mm-hmm.
concerning what we learned as Hebrew Israelites.
Mm-hmm.
Began to show me different gods within the Torah
Mm.
and began to ask me about the evening and the morning being the first day, moon worship,
Mm-hmm.
common, all of those, because I couldn't answer it. And so I started doing the research. So from November 30th until December 2nd, 2009, 3 days back to back, she was asking me because Thanksgiving was that Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me, for the first time, question everything I had learned.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw enough to know I can't do this anymore.
Right.
But I didn't know, I was too scared from the programming because now keep in mind, for 10 years, I owned a travel agency and I didn't work on the Sabbath, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared. She
Mm.
turned me on to Dr. Ray Hagan's.
Oh boy.
This is going to be a safe space for you.
Mm.
So from December 2nd, 2009 until April 10th, 2010, he used to have a radio station that was called LIB, Black Liberation Radio, BLR.
Liberation, right? Liberation.
So I listened to it day and night. And that was the first time in my adult life that I was suicidal because of the programming. I was terrified. I couldn't feel comfortable going to the meetings that had been a part of my life for 10 years. And so, because his radio station was 24 hours, I kept it playing so that, because to believe that 40 years of my life I've been believing a lie was just too much.
Right.
It was too much. And so that kept me sane. Listening, I bought every DVD he had. I started watching Conscious DVDs, all of our elder statesmen, everything, and I'm watching them day and night. This is what brought me into consciousness. And then I got with Baba Kwesi.
Yes.
All of our greats, and it made it okay.
Right.
Like 40 years of programming.
Yes.
Was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And so I then began to walk the Kemetic path. I went to the Temple of Anu. Just learned so much, got a better understanding of Kemet. And it was wonderful. That was just, it was that puzzle piece because Dr. Hagens talked about Kemet, right? So the things that I learned there just took that to a higher level. And then I got a chance to connect with Queen Afua. And I was with her for a year, her and, just having a chance to really talk to Baba Haru and learn from both of them. So that really helped me to become a Kemetic scientist.
Right.
And taught Sacred Woman, taught Sacred Medicine Woman, which was my brand, and then her excellence classes. Continuing to have the undercurrent of Kemetic science. But what I learned then was that we still got the bargaining thing with God or a God, right? So I'm going to make an altar. I'm going to pour liquor. I'm going to have, because I did Ifa, I did all of it. I was going to cover every base. And what I found was that I skipped over Alisha. And I went to love first God, then Yahweh. And now I'm loving all of these different Netaru. I'm loving all of these different Orisha, but I wasn't loving Alisha. And so, there's even a scripture in the Bible that says, how can you love a God you can't see? But don't love your brother
who you
that
see.
You do see.
Every day, yes.
But even with that, I did love my brothers and sisters. I didn't love me.
And right there, hold on, stick a pin. Those that are tuning in, family, we have our dear sister, Dr. Alisha Kier, health and wellness medicine woman, health and wealth medicine woman. Let me put it like that. You can contact her via text. The number is there. You can contact her via the upper room, the ancient upper room on Facebook, and also IG, the ancient upper room, and TikTok, the ancient upper room. And scrolling on the bottom is her PayPal and her Cash App. Now, one of the questions I would like to ask, now that you've been through so much consciousness in, or what we call consciousness, because there's different forms of conscious community. Even if you was in a certain organization, it wasn't called the conscious community. But from your perspective, what does being conscious truly means in today's world? And has that definition evolved over time? Because I've been doing, acknowledging it since I was 14 and all that kind of stuff. So what does it mean? And has it evolved over time?
It absolutely is. Because see, the question becomes, you're conscious, but what exactly are you conscious of?
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the amount of infiltration
Mm.
that has come into the conscious movement.
Good.
A lot of the things that we have held on and believed to be true
Mm-hmm.
have been stories that many of our elder statesmen who we have loved and adored and whose word
Mm-hmm.
we held on to because of who they were and
Mm-hmm.
because our teachers used their names continuously. But Simon, something that I learned in college back in the day was
Mm-hmm.
follow the money.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah.
Follow
Yes, I remember that.
the money.
Yes, 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 yes.
And so I learned to start before I took somebody's word, hook, line, and sinker, no matter how, oh, yes, and doctor this and brother that. And this one said, let's go back.
Mm.
Who funded your trips? Because you're teaching me and telling me all these things about lands that I haven't been to. But I need to see who funded your trip. Just like most of us thought that the African American Studies program came from Carter G. Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we were told.
Mm-hmm.
But we never went back to 1948 when it actually began with a Jewish man at
Mm-hmm.
Northwestern University in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
That's where African American studies began. Now, what's the correlation there? The NAACP.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the NAACP was also founded by Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there is something that was so, yeah, and Dr. Hayden said this. He said, he who rules the printed page rules the knowledge of the age.
The age, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so, in understanding that, it takes us back to the Gutenberg press.
Mm-hmm.
The Gutenberg press is where many of our books came from.
Mm-hmm.
So just because it's written in a book does not mean that it's true. It
Mm-hmm.
simply means that it was printed, and those who are in charge of the printing have approved it for you to have.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, what I began to search, Simon, was what African American scholars were paid for, or trips were paid for by the Ford Foundation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
did the same search for the Rockefeller Foundation. Who were Rhodes Scholars?
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, when these entities have paid for you to go on a trip, you need to bring back information that's based on what they say. Because the phrase is, if I pay, you teach what I say.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start to research Rockefeller, and you can just go on YouTube and look at that, he
Right.
said, all I want is a nation of workers, not a nation of thinkers.
Mm-hmm.
Noble Drew Ali said, if I can get you to think,
Mm-hmm.
save yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to start doing the research. When I did that, and Chat GPT is amazing because Chat pulls out everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We find that many of our authors and many of our scholars, and we're able to go back. Okay, they paid for this trip. This one, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And so, comedic science, love it. got a chance to go through the initiations, all of that. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did the whole ephod thing, initiations, blah, blah. Learned about the altars. All of that was great.
Mm-hmm.
But when I taught Sacred Woman and
Mm-hmm.
when I taught Sacred Medicine Woman, I taught it with a twist. I did not have the ladies worship at altars.
Mm-hmm.
I taught them that the altar was their heart
Mm-hmm.
and that the sacrifice on that altar was their ego, their
Mm-hmm.
animal nature.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to kill animals because of something you did. How
Mm-hmm.
about we take that animal nature in you and lay that on the altar of your heart so that you can take accountability and responsibility for what you are and are not doing. And so in Christianity, in Kemetic science, in Ifa and Yoruba, I did not find accountability because even if you had an abortion, oh, you just bring in some turtle doves and bring in some goats and bring these different things in, and we'll sacrifice them. Bam, you good to go. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But did not cleanse that from your energy field.
Now, now hold on one second. Let's go back. Let's go back a little.
Yes.
What you said about the paid scholars of the
Yes.
past. Now,
Huh?
I remember because I used to go at the UAM
Yes, sir.
at the United African Movement with
Uh,
the late great Alton Maddox and his wife Viola Maddox.
yes, sir.
I remember in those private or closed door sections, because the point they Alton Maddox would not allow white folks in his doors.
Yes.
They would say why they even accepted the money
Mm-hmm.
because those was the means, and they pointed to the spook spook that sat by the door concept.
Sure.
Because what Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark wanted us to do is to know that they've been lying about their Egypt being all white and controlled by Jews
Sure.
doing it. They had to dispel the lie, and they only did it for their time. Even with Shekanta Diop, may
Mm-hmm.
he rest in peace.
Indeed.
The things that they had to do to get behind just to find and test the cadaver to see if it was melanated.
Absolutely. Sure.
So being paid is not like, and I'm not saying that you're saying that they sold out to the money, but I'm saying that being paid don't mean that they didn't go there with a black conscience to find out the truth
Mm-hmm.
about who our cousins are over there in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
And that's why, because you got people like John Henry Clark that was from the Southerners, Geechee Gullah, people like Barashango that was Southerner, Geechee Gullah, and I think because they was promoting so much Egypt, King Tut, and all of that back in the day, and trying to give it off to somebody lighter than us,
Sure.
or give Queen Ty to somebody lighter than us, or Cleopatra when there were so many Cleopatras and so many Nefertiti's. They try to give. I think they wanted to infiltrate and get behind enemy lines, like we was taught in the Nation of Islam, go behind enemy lines and take over. So, may the ancestors bless those, and the Creator bless all of those that had to war. Ronoko Rashidi, who had went to war to sneak in little cameras, or you get killed or taken arrested to go and do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, I used to hear that behind the scenes in those quiet lectures.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So are you trying to say that just because they was paid, that they was paid by these foundations, that they taught us wrong in some way, or what are you trying to say with that?
I said what I said,
Right.
and then exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And so in that, you got to understand what Rockefeller's agenda was.
Oh, they got an agenda, but we know that the Creator has. We know man has a plan, and what God has a plan,
right?
And Allah is the best of planners. So let's there we go.
Yeah, and so it worked for a time. The information worked for a time. And as we continue, see, when you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
Okay. And so what we received, a lot of it has been dispelled, even by further scholars who went further and saw more things.
Right, right, right.
And so that's exactly what I'm saying, is that there was quite a bit of an agenda that
Yes,
was there.
no doubt.
And they're not going to give money out for people that are not going to be a part of the agenda.
And that's why they taught in the colleges, yes, but
Oh,
when they came to UAM,
sure.
it was a whole different. He wasn't letting no white folks, and of course we had black folks that were agents going in and going back to telling people. He wasn't letting nobody in his. I paid for this venue. None of y'all could come in this room.
And he was one of the few.
He was, and he won a court battle against it.
Absolutely.
Because he was able to throw the Jewish people back in their face from legal means. That's how brilliant the attorney of war Alton Maddox was back in those days.
And he was one of the few.
Exactly, and that's why, and that's why I guess I don't, from a New York perspective, I don't know about the United States perspective. Everybody that had a black quote unquote conscious community, but New York, I know that we heard those things. Absolutely. And even Professor James Smalls verified that, and I asked Professor James Smalls on this platform. Yes. I said, would you say that the elders dropped the ball? He said, no. He said, we just have a formidable enemy. That enemy is formidable.
We do.
No doubt. I mean, they took out Noble Drew Ali. Yeah. They took out Malcolm. They took out Marcus. They definitely tried to take out Elijah. They took out Francis Cresswell. I believe they took out Francis Cresswell.
Yes.
I mean, so it's a formidable enemy, but like history has said, we've been fighting ever since. We ain't stopped fighting.
We have never
really stopped fighting. So I'm glad that there are those that were willing to go behind enemy lines at certain times to in the consciousness. Again, this is today's consciousness in the conscious community, and those are people that we stand on the shoulders. And
indeed,
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's in standing on shoulders, kind of like
more information is coming.
Right.
Which is good.
More information comes, and it's like, okay, we were taught this, but now we have this piece of information. So I appreciate what I was taught. We actually thought that microwaves were fine. We thought they were great, they were fine. Until we started seeing radiation damage and cancers and things to that effect and what it was doing to the food.
Yep.
Right. So once you know better, you do better.
You do
right. And so, even at the time that many of the great scholars were taught, they knew about Alfred Perry.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not disclose that because that went against the Africa teaching.
Mm-hmm.
So Alfred Perry did not get mentioned because that information has been out for almost 80 years. That's not right. And so certain things you can reveal, certain things you can't reveal.
That's why a lot of them was in the Masonic order.
Absolutely.
Right. Under Prince Hall.
All day. And that ends up affecting your funding. Yes. So you have to do some tiptoeing because, like you said, even when you only have all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
That's right. You don't know who's who and what's what. That's right.
Organization gets infiltrated, and in that infiltration, while you trying to help your people, you got your people working against your people. And so after I had that experience, I then came into Islam.
Okay.
I done it all. So I want to help a lot of people to really understand so they don't have to do all of that. Because what I was looking for, go ahead.
No, go. That last part, what you about to say, what you looking for, go ahead.
What I was looking for was the correct way, where I was at that time in my mind, the most African-centered way to worship God and
Mm.
not to worship the God of my oppressors,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
to actually worship God, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so love Islam, without a question.
Right.
And I needed to be able to find a version that fit me.
Mm.
You see,
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
that really, really spoke to me. The Moorish Science Temple of America,
Mm-hmm.
that was more me,
Right.
right?
Right.
I had looked at the Nation of Islam, have great, great respect for the Nation of Islam, but Moorish Science just felt like a better fit.
Mm-hmm. I
So
understand.
it helped me to learn so much more about nationality. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'd been Black my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I got a chance to really understand what Black was, that Black was not a racial category, that Black was actually a status in law.
Status
And
below.
it
Mm-hmm.
made me begin to study.
Right.
So then I began to understand why our little brothers keep getting murdered in the street and nobody's being held accountable.
Mm. Mm.
Learn what Negro.
That's a whole nother
Okay,
that's a whole nother thing. Believe me, that's a whole nother platform of information.
put it in
But
there, put it back. But yeah, that's
but now this is very important. Like, again, today, family, today, this is the 10th episode of today's consciousness in the conscious community, and we have our my dear friend, Dr. Alisha Kier, who has had numerous names and aliases like I have, just going into these different organizations, which was a part of them at that a part of her journey, and that's what it is. I've had Abdul, I've had all kinds of names, a part of my journey, but
so.
in this day and time, Dr. Alisha, how can we distinguish true spiritual growth from the performative and the acting consciousness and the trend-based awareness nowadays? How can we really recognize the truth, the real? You know what I'm saying?
You really want me to answer that?
Let's go. Get that. Let's do it. It's here. Today's consciousness, baby, in the conscious community.
Okay.
Let's
I'm
do
going to
it.
help somebody's daughter and somebody's son. Okay.
Please.
Until you understand that God exists in you as you will continue to chase a God outside of you
Mm,
and neglect you.
mm,
Now, let me be clear on what I'm saying.
right.
Am I saying that I am the most high God? Let me show you this.
Mm.
Until you can clap your hands and
Mhm.
manifest a rabbit, you are not the most high God.
Mm,
Stop letting these people tell you that. The
mhm.
Black woman is God. The Black man is God. There is indeed a lot in you, God in you, all day, every day. And that's the piece we skip over.
Mhm.
When you go back and you read some of the ancient holy books and you realize it's talking to you, this is why all your prayers end in Amen, Amen. Okay?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's you. So when you hear you alone are worthy of all
Mhm.
the honor, you alone are worthy. We don't learn what the word worship
Mhm.
means. Let me
Mm.
break that down for you.
Go ahead.
Worship means I ship worth to you.
Mm.
If I don't ship worth to myself, I cannot attract people to me who want to ship worth to me. So they will be able to easily see me as worthless. And
Mm.
it'll show up in what they're comfortable with, in the way they handle me and the way they talk to me.
Mm.
So I must daily ship worth to me. And so when you begin to worship yourself,
Mhm.
then you attract people of a higher consciousness who also want to participate. See, we're taught to look for love. Why? Because we don't love us. How
Mhm.
can you tell whether or not a person loves himself? how do you treat you?
Right.
What do you put in your body?
Mm-hmm.
Do you work out? Do you speak positively to you? What does that self-talk look like? If that self-talk does not look like positive affirmations about you, then you don't need to look for love, because you will develop a codependency on another person and do whatever to please them. And it's going to be like a hit. I need my hit of your love. So this ain't got nothing to do with sex.
Mm-hmm.
Need the attention, because many of us are attention addicts and
Mm-hmm.
we are addicted to the attention another person is showing us. And we
Mm-hmm.
put up with things that we would never put up with, because he's always calling to check on me. She's always texting me to see how my day's going. I am addicted to the attention,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not paying good attention to myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not properly loving me. I've always been taught to love something outside of me. So I love a God I can't see. I love these children that I made that I may or may not want. I love my man. I love my woman. We love everything outside of us, but
Mm-hmm.
we don't learn to love us. And so if you don't love you first, then you develop codependent relationships
Mm-hmm.
with any and everything else. And
Mm-hmm.
we build altars trying to appease a specific God to get what we want. And we don't credit the God in us to manifest
Mm-hmm.
what we want and need. See, when you are worshiping God or gods,
Mm-hmm.
it takes the accountability away from you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be responsible. I just paid for a $2,000 Evo. I should get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I remove divine timing. So I want to have a baby and I want to have the baby now. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and I'm going to pay a priest and
Mm-hmm.
pay them good money.
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring forth a child.
Mm-hmm.
This may not be the timing, because you got 3 abortions. Still, the spirit of those children are still in your womb.
Mm-hmm.
Your womb needs to be cleared and cleansed. And a lot of the people that we want to have babies by, we keep trying to have babies by boyfriends, as opposed to the accountability of a husband.
Oh,
So if
wait,
you
wait, wait, hold on. Stop right there. Let me give that a round of applause for you saying just that, lady. Hold on. Hold on. Woo, woo. But I don't want to hurt nobody. Stay right there, because this goes right into another question that I have about a lot of the quote unquote conscious people, male and female, are ending up single.
come on,
Single mofos. And at least I got married 3 times. And I will do it again, or being a life
yes, you
partnership.
will. Yes, you will. Many people have asked me why we're not married.
Let me put a gunshot to that one. Let me put a gunshot to that. You so funny, hilarious. Okay, okay, all right. Now let's get back. Now, a lot of people, these people have become so, and that leads to one of my questions that I have. It said, what ways has social media helped or hurt the conscious community? Because everything is a trigger to these new consciousness. Everything, you could go be in a relationship, and just because he did one thing that probably remember your daddy did to you or your mama did to you, you ready to leave the whole relationship. What is that all about? And has social media become a detriment in relationships of people that are conscious? Your
Mo-
face tells
o-
it all.
okay. I am a 9-9 Virgo. I can't hide
Yes, you are.
nothing. So the majority, I would say we're going with the 89-11 rule. Okay.
Mm.
89% of the people this applies to. You got your little 11% and woo wee, hallelujah, glory.
Mm.
But 89% of what you see on social media with these, ooh, oh, I love him. Oh, I love her. Yeah, that's a performance because social media pays well.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baby, social media is out here paying people's mortgage and their car payment.
That's
I
good.
know people that have broken up, and so that they can keep getting paid on social media, they're still putting a face on for y'all. They done moved out, they don't live together, but they splitting that check.
Mm. Mm.
And so they're giving you the illusion of, why don't you get in a relationship? Because if you get in a relationship, then you can be like us.
Mm.
And what's so sad now, Simon is a reader. I am a reader. People don't want to. The first thing you need to do before you sleep with somebody, I said the first thing you need to do before you sleep with, not after. Don't bring it to us after you done gave the draws up on the first date because, ooh, and I was just feeling her and I was just feeling him. No, discipline. Keep your people in your pants. Okay, let's go there. Sisters and brothers, you're not that horny. Let's just go there. Okay. And so, since you're not, get a reading. Why? Because that person may have a life intention to be your brother, to be your sister, and not to be with you. And so now you in West Virginia having incest with your brother or sister because it just felt right. And no, you don't know that person. You don't know their family history. You don't know, and then you want to do it raw. Oh God, brothers, let me say this to the brothers. If you really understood what you doing when you run into a woman raw, brothers, let me just help you understand. When you release, you take in her juices. You just took in her DNA profile. This is why you can be with somebody that is bat crap crazy and you can't leave her alone. Why? Because you've taken in her DNA profile into your body. She didn't tell you that her mama killed her first two husbands. Okay? But she had a big butt and a smile. Bruh. And then you have released into her, giving her, who you don't know, access to your genetic profile. Do you know how many brothers are fathers that never had any intention of doing it? I went to lay down because she was easy. She didn't tell me no, and I took the ball and ran. I wasn't trying to make a baby. Then we have the unmitigated gall to call him a deadbeat dad, but he wasn't trying to have a baby. He was trying to lay down with you because you were easy. You did not have a standard. You did not make him work to get to know you. But if you understood how in demand you are, you would make women work for it. You would spend time getting to know her before you pursuing the booty. You would pursue her mind because you could be putting a child in a position to be raised by an abuser.
No, hold on right there. Stop. Stick a pin. Lord of mercy. Children coming through. We always hear the conscious saying that they chose to come through. They chose to go through that and deal with that. What do you say in on that part where you're saying right now where you're saying about somebody choosing a person or a woman or a man or a woman choosing each other and they having a child that might be an abuser? Did that child choose to come through here to get that abuse?
That is, and often yes is the answer.
Yes is the answer. Thank you very much.
And before we make the decision to reincarnate, okay, you get a chance, you get a list. Hey, you can choose from this set of mothers and this set of fathers. 20 elders sit there. Exactly. And so the 24 elders is 12 sets of couples. And so they are witnesses to you making that decision. So absolutely, you get to choose your mama, you get to choose your daddy. Understand, everything in life is about ma'at. It is about restoring balance.
That's right.
So if when you left here the last time, you had unresolved karma, oftentimes when you come back, the resolution is in the first 7 years of your life. Why many of us were molested before the age of 7. Many of us went through heinous abuse before the age of 7 because we are rectifying what we did in that last time frame. The beauty of having it happen before you're 7 is that you get more time to heal it, to bring it back into balance so that you don't become the abusive parent that did that to you.
So you have the choice, according to the Holy Quran, there's 7 heavens and 7 hells. So you have the choice to come through to experience either 7 heavens and 7 hells?
Absolutely do.
In the first 7 years of your formative life?
You absolutely do. And
I didn't know. I mean, I study. So.
Yeah. And see, there is an awareness that comes with it as well. What do I mean when I say that? Little girls, little boys that have been molested can see that on a child. So you can be in the presence of a child that's being molested that can't nobody else see, and you can see that spirit. And so you're able to then aid and assist. Now, why? Because sometimes you'll have several children in a family, but only one of them actually got molested.
Right.
Oftentimes, even as you teach, depending on that child's numerology, when you have a child that's a 4, okay? A child that's a 4 may try to commit suicide because of that. So another sibling may go through that experience because remember, not only are you balancing your karma, but you're balancing the karma of the 3rd and the 4th generation. So you have generational karma that you're balancing out as well.
So this is really deep consciousness that's stemming throughout the whole family. And this happened to me because it's not, I realized it wasn't molestation, it was torture.
Yeah.
My cousins on both sides tortured me.
Yes.
Because either I ate their food and then when I found out that these people was probably tortured or molested in some way, they didn't molest me, but I realized when you wrap up somebody in a shirt and start throwing you because you ate their food, or start beating them up, or you have a cousin that might beat you up because you ate their food because you're a child and you're trying to, I realized that this was torture. This is not even molestation no more. This is so when you have family members that might have gone through their own trauma from their my aunts and uncles of that side and my aunts and uncles of that side, and they get to somebody that wants to experience the 7 heavens and not the 7 hells, maybe they try to put their torture on top of you.
Absolutely.
Consciously, unconsciously.
Yes.
So they're young too. They're like teenagers doing this foolishness.
That's right. And they feel
Mm,
like it's okay because see, this is what was done to me, so it makes it okay for me to do that to you.
right.
That's where the mindset becomes, right? Because when you look at molestation amongst children, especially when it's not an adult, it's
Mhm.
a teenager, and that teenager is comfortable, a cousin, a family, a sister,
Right.
brother, whatever, that child has experienced it, so it becomes their norm. So
Mm,
that's why they have no problems doing that to you because it was done to them.
no.
We are
Okay.
just now opening up
Mm,
and talking, but we went through years and years and years of shut your mouth and don't tell nothing. Don't tell what your granddaddy did. Don't tell what your daddy did. We're
mhm,
not going to let nobody know that that baby you got pregnant with at 13 is actually your little sister, your little brother.
mm.
So we're going to just send you down south and then
Wow.
you'll come back. But see, this is the problem. And I also have dealt with so many brothers, and I'm gonna deal with the brothers. I'm gonna tell what happened to the brothers, but sisters
Mhm,
who got pregnant, oftentimes by fathers or their brothers,
mhm,
and were forced to have abortions.
mm.
So imagine
Right, right, right,
your mama making you go. Now you'd already been raped or molested. And now I'm gonna add on top of that the fact that I'm forcing you to kill your baby. I'm not giving you a choice because the church is not going to accept it. Your family is not going to accept it. So I'm making you have double trauma.
mm,
And
mm,
even though it's socially accepted, well, if you get raped, just go and have an abortion.
mhm,
And I'm just like, they've already had the initial trauma. And now you're going to add trauma on top of
mm,
trauma. Every time a woman has an abortion, part of her uterus tears.
mm.
Each time, each time. These are the conversations nobody wants to
And
have with us.
and they're going through that unconsciously. They don't even know this.
They have no
Okay.
idea.
Okay, that's a whole another program, my dear. You know, you teach that in your stuff. You know, you teach that. Like, family, those who want to join the conversation, you can call in at 718-210-8853. We're coming up on top of the first hour, and we probably go to the half an hour. I don't know how long my sister got, but I don't want to.
I'm here. I'm here.
and
We
and
can
you could
stay
come. You could.
all night, side.
Yeah, I know we ain't doing no all nighter, but but you could come also on the link if you want to cam up and join us on the link. You can do that. I just want to let you know we're going to do a commercial break in the next 3 minutes. I just want to make sure we are here with our dear sister, Dr. Alisha Kier Ill. Now you got like 4 PhDs or what you got, 4 or 5 of them now, and a whole bunch of certificates behind you, of course. I remember coming to your house, the other house, and you had hanging up like 50 certificates.
I mean, they wrapped around.
Yeah, you got to wrap it around like a bookshelf. So what it is. Make sure y'all give her a call if you want to book her or do consultation with her. Or you want to book her on your radio show or television show or podcast. She's open and willing to do that. You can support her via her Cash App and her PayPal, which I will show you. I placed it in the link in the chat, but let me place it back in the chat just in case y'all want to support our sister also. But again, you could cam up and join us. Question before the top of it. You know what? Maybe I should start do the commercial break and start with that question. Yeah, let me do the commercial break.
That's
Then
fine.
I'll start because I know this is gonna lead me into something else with you. I already know this question. It's all in my head now. I got look. I'm a formerly trained radio personality from back in the day. People don't know, so I can do this all in the head, and my mind be like rolling like this, and I might just write down one word that I can expound around, and that's what I do, right around, okay, so look, family, I'll be right back. I'm gonna put you on mute, my dear. I will be right back with our beautiful sister momentarily. Do not go nowhere. As a matter of fact, like I love to tell y'all, people, please like, subscribe, and share with people that really on a spiritual journey, because Today on a Tuesday is today's consciousness in the conscious community. We're going to give y'all some more solutions as well as some of the problems in the community. So don't go nowhere. We'll be melanated right after this. Don't touch that dial. And remember, support the channel, family. PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Chime, Cash App, all of that. All right, we'll be right back after this. It's about guiding people. The only way you can make the world better is if you make the people better. So it's about showing them the light of hope in themselves and their family. Everything in this universe is all about synchronicity.
Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numeration from the king. Learn the foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. 1 + 1 is 2. Be precise. 3 + 2 is 5. Guard your mind. Me plus you is mathematician. Learn from V1 numerovator. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Me innovation from a king. Me foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. Numbers are simple, no people are complicated. Numerotation from a king. Me foundation from the king.
No, it's not about reading. It's about guiding. I don't do readings. I do consultations because you should know yourself. As good as the back of your hand, you should know yourself. I want everyone out there to be clear that this is to serve you like a GPS serves you. Remember, each of us has guaranteed ourselves success. Be that magi, family. Be that magician. Be that numerovational motivated force. It's the numerovational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022 and get my books on Amazon now. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? Welcome back, family. Oh my goodness, welcome back, welcome up. We'll bring back Dr. Alisha momentarily. Let me just let y'all know what's coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have the young, conscious and chosen and in tune, my brother B. Dell will be in the building for the first time right here. And don't forget, on the 18th of May, this Sunday, we got the one, the only Miss Blue, the soulful oracle, will be with us, speaking about spiritual healing is a journey. Yo, this lady gave me a reading and brought my great-grandfather to the point I had to go and ask my father if all of this was true. And my father said, yeah, he was the one. He did that. He walked funny because he got into an accident. And Miss Blue pointed it out without even knowing. My great-grandfather transitioned years ago. Believe me. And also, don't forget, Tassili Ma'at will be with us on next Tuesday, also on Today's Conscious Community, Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. And of course, on after that is going to be my brother, Sharif Anail Bey will be with us. Big up to Abundance Child, of course, that she got a great radio show that y'all need to support our dear sister Abundance Child on WJVS Radio. That's WJVS Radio. She's doing wonderful work. Her and her husband, John Carr. I'm so proud of her. She's married and she's just loving it. You know what I'm saying? I'm so glad she never gave up, man, on love, man. And that's what's important. And when I see that she's doing her thing all the time, you know what I'm saying? Big up to her. And don't forget the tribute to Malcolm X 100th birthday celebration happening in up at the gravesite of Malcolm, where his beautiful beloved wife is buried next to him. Dr. Khalid is right up the block, and Malik Shabazz, his grandson, is right over there. And they're going to be celebrating 100th birthday celebration, and it's going to be the 60th annual pilgrimage to the Malcolm X Day up there to the gravesite. Make sure y'all contact Brother Reggie and Professor Smalls. That's going to be off the hook at those emails right there. And remember, if you're into martial arts, big up to Sanukas Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, Karoshi Kai Khan martial arts organization, the martial scientists with the one, the only Soke Hassan Khalik. That brother is off the hook. And don't forget, I'll be speaking at the LIU College with Brother Shabazz event. Make sure on June 22nd, I will be there with my brother Black Dot, Brother Tafiru Azar, Adinka Butler, also Baba Ifa Kunle will be there. And I will have a female, because I told Brother Shabazz, there's too much men up here. I need some female energy. So I'm going to bring on a sister to open up for me for at least 15 minutes just to show that feminine energy there. Sister Paris Williams will be with me, the one, the only Paris from PW Collections. She got some 2 new books. I'm going to be bringing her on live and direct. And big up to Nina Dunham and her publications. Make sure you get the 52 Mirrors and the Queen's Codes. All right. And if you want to take my 8-hour course, I slashed it in half all the way till May 19th. Make sure you text me if you want that. You can pay through PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Chime, or Cash App. If you want to book a session with me, text me your full name, date of birth, and email. And also, everybody that books a 10-minute or 15-minute session or a 30-minute section or a 60-minute section, they will get a free ebook, either volume 1 or volume 2 of my numerovational workbooks and also spiritual lessons. And my third book is out now. My third ebook is out, Numerovational Spiritual Lessons. I give applicable homework and homework assignments, all of that. And you can get all my books on Amazon right now. Just go to King Simon, not Simon King, King Simon on Amazon, or go to Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Big up to Lloyd Strayhorn all the time. Hit him up at Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Big up to Color Curiosity, one of my moderators. She show you how to feng shui your life with color therapy. Big up to Adara Moselle. She got AdaraMoselle.com. Make sure you hit her up for some energy healing and some energy removal. And big up to my girl, the one, the only Dr. Shakira Moore, the iridologist. She got a new book called The Iris Papers coming out. Make sure you support her, do the spiritual guidance, do the iridology with her, or the iridology. And big up to my son, Prince Imagine, who did that. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. That's my son singing while I'm talking. Go to his Green Studio NYC, record your audio book, event productions, artist development. You got to keep it moving. Just text him or contact him and you can show him some love. Let's welcome right back on the one, the only, back on for the other half of the show. The one, the only, my beautiful one, the only Alisha Kier is back in the building. Make sure you, Alisha Kier, Dr. Alisha is in the building. What up, Doc?
Simon, I got a text while we went to the break.
Really?
I did. And a person said that we skipped over, and I realized we did. I mentioned the brothers portion.
Oh.
I didn't expound on it. So tell me what you tipped. I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. And then we could go in my next question. Let's do that. Go ahead. You want to get that? Go ahead. Make it happen.
So for the brothers, that's if you were the father and paid for the abortion, or if you paid for an abortion for your sister, you loaned your boy the money, all of those type things. There's a curse that you bring on your money because your money is now blood money. So, a lot of us have paid for hits on people, right?
Yes, we have.
And so in doing that, you curse your money. And that's the exact same thing that happens with dealing with that becomes blood money, right? So even if you're not the father, I don't know if you've ever seen good brothers that work hard and seem like they can never get ahead. They'll get a good job. Then they get to 90 days, boom, it's gone. They get skipped over for promotions. Like stuff just keeps happening financially.
Right.
And so, a lot of times that's what we got to go back and clean up.
Right.
Because we keep trying to push forward and we don't realize that we got things we got to clean up. Oftentimes, it will manifest in men as prostate cancer and erectile dysfunction. So we don't just get to make that decision and then, okay, well, I'm good with it. I didn't want the child. So yeah, there's repercussions. Just like if the child had made it to the earth realm and you decided to unalive them, there are repercussions for that. So we have to understand, because of our melanin, the repercussions that we face are greater than those who are not as melanated, because we have a higher level of consciousness and we have a higher level of accountability and responsibility. To whom much is given, much is required, and we are the whom.
Powerful, and I'm glad you brought that up. And family, if you want to chime in, you could call in, or if you want to come on and cam up, let me put the link back in the chat. Those who want to come in, call in or cam up. I'm gonna put the cam up link directly in the chat right now, so y'all can come on in. If those who want to ask or any questions you want, and there's no holds bar. If you want to ask a question, you'll go there. Big up to Abundance Child in the chat. What's up, Abundance Child? Whoa, Abundance Child is in the building. Yo,
sis, absolutely.
Okay. Hey, I'm about healing this sisterhood now. That's what I'm about, healing this sisterhood. You know what I'm saying? And before, what's so interesting about what you just said, because I've known sisters that have had miscarriages and not always aborted. They had miscarriage. I know if children would have came out through me, I probably had 15, 20 of them. Miscarriages. The majority was miscarriage. I think one or two was, they did it on their own. And now when a woman does it on their own and wasn't prompted by the man to do it, what's the tale around that?
The beauty of that is, there's a beauty. And then there's still, because you still got your responsibility, right? Again, everything is about balance.
Right.
And so where the challenge comes in, this is why babies are for marriage. Children are for marriage, because marriage, you are now saying, I am your covering. I take responsibility for you. So when we're doing marriage covenant things outside of the protection of marriage, that's the way a brother doesn't know that his woman, his wife, is pregnant. And so when you release your seed into a woman, you are taking responsibility for her womb. And whatever you leave in there. So just because she didn't tell you, you have a responsibility to her, because you released your seed into her womb. So yes, you still bear responsibility in that abortion, because you made a marriage covenant with her, although she did not tell you. So the full faith and responsibility that a brother that said, nope, I don't want it, here's $500, go do what you do, and you, is a difference, but there is still a full karma, because you made a covenant. Every time a man enters a woman, he is making a covenant and he is producing an energy. Sometimes those energies become fibroid tumors. Sometimes they become uterine cysts. You produce, every time a man and a woman come together, they produce. This is where you have the positive portions of sex magic. And that sex magic is supposed to be within the confines of a marriage, because you all can produce greatness together. But because each time you enter into a sexual covenant, that's what you're doing. So we got to ask ourselves, how many covenants am I running around making with people that I have no interest in having lifetime relationships with? I just wanted to get my little rocks off. So that's where you run into the challenge. So when you use that positive sex magic, you all are in a covenant. This is the way when two touch and agree, they can bring anything into manifestation.
Right.
This is why we have to know about the moon cycles so that we can make love on the full moon, on the new moon, on the waxing and the waning moons, and bring forth things. That's where it becomes a problem, is that a lot of us will have sex during Mercury retrograde, not understanding that you can oftentimes produce a child with a learning disability because you just having sex and you are disconnected from the universe and from the star systems, oftentimes because religion has taught you that that is witchcraft. And it is not. It is there for your edification so that you can do things properly. When brothers understand the rhythm method, they can stop pulling out because you disconnect from your woman when you keep trying to pull out. And many of you all have learned that the pull-out game doesn't really always work. I keep blaming, maybe my game ain't it. No.
And it's not a game.
How you get pregnant? How do you think? What, you wanted to stay in there 30 seconds longer, and therefore
You didn't know how to play the game.
hey.
Okay, family, we got the one, the only Dr. Alisha Kier in the building. Make sure you call her or contact her. That's her direct number, so you can text her if you want any advice or whatever. You want to book a session, go to FB, the Ancient Upper Room, as also on IG, the Ancient Upper Room, and TikTok, the Ancient Upper Room. Man, do you believe today's conscious movement is more about healing, activism, or identity? And why do you see that? Where do you see us going in this so-called today's consciousness now?
How honest would you like me to be, beloved?
This is today's consciousness. You are number 9. Say what you mean what you say. Do it till you satisfied.
What I have seen for the last 15 years that I have shown up as a healer in the process of healing in the conscious community. And probably over the last 7 years, I've seen it even more pronounced ever since, because in 2018, that's when I went and just stayed in Jamaica for 2 years, up until COVID. Right?
You were studying. I remember you were studying, right?
Yeah, I was studying, got all my certifications with Dr. Aris Latham.
Dr. Aris, I got to get him back on. My brother. I got to get him back on. That's
and
right.
started, flying people back over with cancer and all of those, helping them to heal, getting them on raw foods, all of that. And it's a money grab now. It's not about the healing of the people, because if you're going to be a healer, the question that I would invite everyone to ask anybody before you give them a dime is, hey, what healing work have you done on yourself? That's the first question. Secondly, who have you studied under? Because a lot of us are going to people and paying them, and they took an online course and now they done hung up a shingle and they're a reader. They've hung up a shingle. Now, I became a vegan chef because of Abundance Child. I have watched her since 2009. And I adored her. Oh my gosh. That was my big sister. Anytime anybody said they were going to Delaware, going up in that area, go to her restaurant. And because I was enamored. I was like, ooh, wow. And I thought she was so beautiful. And so I then began to study. I went on my weight loss journey and all of those things, doing vegan foods, releasing people from my life, or not releasing them, letting them go. Because when you release, you renegotiate a contract. When you let them go, the contract ends. So I let go of so many people. And so I would watch the different foods she would put up and all of that. And so I would then start doing those. And then I started formally studying and I became a beast with it. And I loved it.
Well,
But
she's shouting you back out. Big up to Abundance Shout. She in the building. Hey,
helps.
Her restaurant is called Drop Squad Kitchen.
Yes,
ain't nothing to mess with, baby. It's one of those best over there, over in Delaware, family. Drop Squad Kitchen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and big up to Praise 7 for showing me that love on Super Sticker. Remember, you can support the channel, family, by dropping that love. Spread love. Up. You got to spread love, baby. That's what Simon says. Simon says circulate to the channel. PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Chime, Cash App, Super Chat, all of that. It keeps the lights on. Because look, I'm almost in darkness. I'm almost in darkness. I'm almost in darkness, like Rick James said to Charlie Murphy. Darkness. I'm almost in darkness.
I love it. But everybody that I've ever sent that's gone and eaten there has just come back, girl, that food was bananas, And so it's important that as we come into consciousness, and Noble Drew Ali said something really, really, really just as I continue to grow in my understanding and my consciousness, it makes sense to me. He said, as man unfolds, his God unfolds. And so what that means is you may put your toe in a lot of different pools until you finally find that God within that is needing your worship. Once you begin to worship that God within and you begin to start looking in the mirror and say, I love you. You are amazing. You are worthy to be praised. You are worthy to be worshiped. We don't, that sounds like, blasphemy. How you going to worship a God you can't see and you don't worship you? And so as we start to do that, it's okay for you to try to find God in all these places. But until you actually find the God in you, continue a codependent relationship on altars and on religion, and you'll skip over the spirituality of holding accountable the God in you. You don't need to pray to lose weight. No,
right.
You need to discipline yourself. And I'm gonna tell you something. I don't do love spells. People have come and offered me big money for love spells. Baby, let me help you save you some coins, okay? If you gotta use a spell to get him, you gonna have to use a spell to keep him. Let me also minister to the Coochie Chronicles as well. Your coochie is not going to keep him, okay? If anything, he done lost the curiosity. It was like, well, that was easy. Let me go find somebody else that's going to give me a challenge because I'm a man. I pursue. And so if anybody has ever been a hunter, if you go to hunt a deer, if the deer just lay down and spread its legs and just, okay, shoot me, you're gonna be like, I don't know that I necessarily want you. You took the chase out of it. And so this is because we don't have boundaries and we don't have standards. So we automatically think that, okay, we've been together a week, let's go. And you don't know that person. Way before Steve Harvey came up with the 90-day principle, it had been taught. Neely Fuller said there are 200 questions you need to ask a man before you lay down with him. I keep seeing people get pregnant, so we done just stop using condoms. And Where the problem comes, and they do have vegan condoms, okay? But where the problem comes in, we're laying with people and making sexual covenants with people we don't know are crazy. And they're leaving things in you, not just diseases, but they're leaving spiritually transmitted diseases in you that you just can't remove because you have no standard. Social media has made it worse because everybody's laying down on social media. And then 3 months later, I hate him. I hate her. Right. Because you jumped to a sexual covenant before y'all got to know each other. And so most of us can look and say, yeah, if I'd have spent some more time getting to know you before I sexed you, I'd have never sexed you. I'd have realized that you were really not okay and you just needed somebody to talk to. So you became addicted to my attention and then you wanted to control me. And then when I sprinkled a little coochie juice on you, you lost your mind.
Wow. Not Lord, Dr. Alisha is in the mother flipping building, family. Just want to let y'all know that she's here. She about this truth and doing her thing from her perspective. Let's give that a round of applause. Oh man. This question is gonna probably it's probably gonna stimulate some stuff because this is about leadership. And what role does accountability play in conscious leadership and spiritual guidance today, especially off of, you and I, we've been through the era of Polite. We've been through the era of Dr. York. We've been through the era of, we've heard of, I've never really worked with him, but Nature Boy and all these people that claim to be leaders. Dr. York, I was there in that community. I've been with Polite. I've never been worked with Nature Boy. And I know when I went into the Ansar Law community, I know that as a 17-year-old, 16-year-old boy, believing that we are 144,000, or we are going to produce the 144,000, whatever was taught back in those days. That's what we believe wholeheartedly. And to the point that we would kill for Dr. York, Imam Isa at that time.
Yes, sir.
And then moving fast forward with Brother Polite and the part of him that I had with me at that time, because he knew to join with a good promoter. He even said, yo, I want to partner with you because you're good at what you do. Yes. Smart move for him. Because absolutely. at that point of time, and which he was into his metaphysics and his health and all that first, and then whatever he got into through real estate, and then going into battling and debating, and then going to Hollywood. That's where he left after he left me, and then went to Sonnet and all that. Yes. Nature Boy, I don't know his story, so I can't speak on that story or what, but I know he also understood or studied Dr. York and other people. I remember him quoting a few of his stuff back in the day. Accountability. Because you've also been under Queen Afua, who is considered the city of wellness, the leader of the city of wellness. She's doing her thing still up to this day. What role does accountability play in conscious leadership and spiritual guidance today?
That's where the downfall comes in. Brothers and sisters, I invite you, if the person you're choosing to receive leadership from does not have someone they are accountable to, run. Because if they mishandle you, there's no one to go through. You can blast them out on social media. People have very short social media attention spans.
Yes.
So it is incumbent that you make sure. Now, I am a woman of authority, under authority. This is one of the reasons that I cover my head. Okay, that is exactly what it symbolizes when you see when you saw Queen Elizabeth, when you see all of the queens, they always have, and kings, you always see something on their head. That is a reminder. I am of authority, under authority. So I am an empress. And so I develop ladies to become queens. I don't use the word woman because a woman is by definition a wombed man. And so when you are a wombed man, oftentimes you exude masculine energy. And you can be real, real pretty and exude masculine energy, and you continue to attract beta males who do not want to be the leader in their home, and that naturally makes you resent them. So I am a woman of authority, but I have 9 people that I am accountable to. So anytime I don't show up, I don't do right, there is always, my students have always had somebody to go to. I'm not just out here on my own, because when you're just out there on your own, treat people however you want. Just handle them in business. Who's going to make you pay them back? You see? And so that's what you always want to ask. Hey, who is your accountability partner? What is causing you to be in accountability? Oftentimes, King Simon is an accountability partner to me. When people have been upset, they run to King Simon. Okay. And Simon will come to me, hey, I don't always like it, but
you know what's so funny? You say stick right there, stay right there, don't go nowhere. Because I've done that even for polite, where people run to me about money and all that, and anybody tell you, I will call them. I'm not one of those people that go on the air and bash him about it. I call you behind, because men know how to call people or go to them face to face, and he'll end up paying people back and all that kind of stuff. Ask Doggy Diamonds. I did that for one of his friends. Phil Valentine. I asked Dr. Valentine. I've asked Phil. Phil called me and said, "Yo, contact polite. I need to." Accountability is so important. And keep on going. Then I'm gonna go to my next question.
Absolutely. And see, spiritual ED is actually EPA, ego, pride, and arrogance. And so the issue here is that pride comes before the fall. Ego causes you to be blind to the fact that you're slipping, and your arrogance won't allow you to admit it.
Right.
People have had issues with me. If they go to one of my accountability partners, because there was a time when I was a more intimidating factor. I am much sweeter now, but that has not always been my testimony. So people were afraid that I would behead them, and so they would go to others that they knew I was accountable to.
Right.
Now they can come to me, and I will always thank them, and I go within to correct things. Yes.
What about when the children of the leadership is unaccountable?
That's garbage.
The children of their leaders of the leadership is unaccountable. You know, they doing other things outside of what their parents are showing them.
That goes back to Elihu.
I know you know this very well. Go ahead.
You see how I'm just sweet. So Elihu had 2 sons, and he was the king. He let his sons do whatever. And people would come to him and say, your son's doing this, not my children. And so his sons got killed, and within the same day, he died as well. So I do now, from the wisdom I've gained, I do look at your life before I submit myself to you. See, you can't run a temple if you can't run a temple or 2. So if you can't run your own house, I'm not really going to be able to hear you, because your children don't respect you. So that means that what they're seeing at home is not what you're presenting to the people. Now, your children gonna train them up and they'll come back, da 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 da. But when your children don't have nothing good to say about you, all your children, because you always got that one.
Yeah.
You just like, I could just give you some NyQuil and put you in the closet and nobody would know. But when none of your children have anything good to say, Simon, I adore your boys.
Yeah.
The boys can come and get a meal when you can't. They will never be hungry or homeless. Why? That's a credit to the way that you raise them.
And their mothers, Let's not
I
take
don't know
that.
the mamas. I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know them. So
Yeah.
all I can say is because the men that they are, they didn't see that in their mamas. They saw that in you. And so this is where the difference comes in. Your children are a divine reflection of how you're showing up. Are you showing up in your divinity, or are you showing up as a fraud? Because they're always going to expose it.
Man. Whew. Now, again, family, if you want to call in, we're going to be here probably till 9:45, 10 o'clock. We ain't going too far than that. Yeah, we ain't doing an all-nighter. My back hurt. No, I'm joking. Right. I'm joking. We ain't doing an all-nighter tonight, baby. Give me a few more minutes. Call in 718-210-8853. You can join the conversation.
We got some questions in the chat as well.
Yeah, I'm going to check out some of the questions. They really was just quotes. They just was just showing you love, man. That's really no questions at all, really.
Oh, no, that's several. Yeah. She said, "How do you take sex back?"
Oh, how you take? Oh, yeah, that's way up there. So, abundance child. Can you? Go ahead.
You can. Because the first thing that's got to happen is, see, sex is about ego. Nobody has that conversation. My body, and I do with my body what I want to, and ain't nobody gonna tell me. It's my little cookies, and if I want to let somebody bite my cookies, they get to bite my cookies. Okay, sugar, that's just fine. That's your little ego. Okay. So in order to take back sex, you got to first acknowledge that you did not make a good decision. Ego usually won't let you do it. So we first acknowledge that wasn't a good decision. What I would invite everybody to do is to make a list of all your partners, male and female, and the animals.
What?
As well as
disgusting.
As see again, social media then open people up to a whole bunch of stuff. We're gonna leave that alone. As well as your toys, because many of us are actually making covenants with toys. I've actually counseled people that stopped having relations with their husband because they had a rabbit. Now, I've never touched any of the, after I started hearing that, I don't know.
Rabbit, dolls, all of that is going on.
Okay, so that becomes a covenant relationship. And so what we have to do is say, woo, wait a minute. I got to write them all down. What if I don't remember their name? The dude with the green eyes that I thought I should give some to, whoever. Write them all down. They ain't got to be in order. And then you begin to break the cords because everybody you have sex with, whether it's with a condom or not, because condoms do not cancel out sexually transmitted diseases. So you have covenants with every one of those people. So there's a silver cord between you and every person you ever had sex with, which means they have access to your soul. So you build a soul tie with each person you've had sex with and everybody they've had sex with. You ever done anything, Simon, and you're like, why in God did I do that?
Of course, in my club days, yes.
Guys, it's not you. When people say you're bipolar, remember Sybil had 16 personalities.
The
One
movie.
plus 6 is 7. Okay?
Right.
So Sybil had all them people in there running around as her. Many of us, because it's my bad and I do it, I want to. Okay. You have all of these different entities and energies running around, the implants and the imprints on your spirit that you don't even know who the real you is. So your soul is polluted and you can't even truly hear your spirit. You can't connect, you can't meditate, you can't get in a lot of the spiritual channels that are trying to talk to you because you've been over sexualized. So by the time a good man comes to you, you can't even see him because you got everybody else up in you. So to break it, write a list down. First, acknowledge these were not, I was in a relationship with him. Okay. And now you're not. So many a times our relationships are codependencies because we're lonely. So we first acknowledge and then we forgive ourselves individually for each one. You then do a cord cutting. And just Google cord cut. It's a million little cord cuts. Do the cord cut and then say, after you finish with cutting the cords from each person, because each of them has every right to visit your dream life. They have the right to do any types of spells on you. See, that's what I'm saying. They've over sexualized us because they know the power of sex. Every time you turn around, you need to be giving your cookies. Your cookies will go old. All of that's a lie. As a matter of fact, you build up your spiritual sensitivity when you're not sleeping with folk. There's nothing wrong with it. It won't grow cobwebs and all of that right there. You know, sometimes you actually will become tighter because your little stuff then got all loose. Do soul ties have a greater impact on any specific gender? No. Awareness is limited in the brothers because brothers are told to go and sow your wild oats. And all of that is to dumb you down because the more you're ejaculating, the more you are releasing your spiritual energy and the different wombs that you're releasing it in, you're still pulling in their energy. So you got pieces of your soul all over everywhere. And so after you do your cord cut for each person, you say, I call back my energy from such and such. You do that on each person, then you go and take a spiritual bath. You want to have as much orange in that bath as possible because you damaged your sacral chakra. While you're in the water, you want to begin to apologize to your sacral chakra for making her or him a graveyard of other people's spirits. And excellent question, Sister Ayana. Same thing. I want to say, I let go of, let's say it was Bob. I let go of Uncle Bob because, and I hate to put it like this because I've been molested as well. Nobody actually accidentally molested you. If we be real, there wasn't a oops, I didn't know. Yes, you did. Okay. So it's kind of hard to forgive a molestation because we forgive mistakes. You did that on purpose.
Mm.
So because of religious teachings, what if I don't forgive him, then God ain't gonna forgive me. Okay. The better thing is to say, I let you go, Uncle Bob. I take my energy back from Uncle Bob. I cut all of the cords from Uncle Bob. Because if every time you think about it, it still is bringing anger up in you, that opens you up to cancer. Because cancer is an anger based disease. That's number one. Number two, again, forgiveness, if it still comes up and it makes you infuriated, you haven't really forgiven.
Mm.
And this was not a oops. This was done on purpose. So you use the term, I let you go. And what are you letting them go? I let you go into the hands of the ancestors and to the Most High.
Mm.
May you be rewarded according to your intentions.
Mm.
That's going to help you. You're going to start feeling things release and to let you go because it's binding you. It affects every relationship
Mm-hmm.
that you're in until you deal with it.
Now,
And
now,
so,
now, hold on, sis. That's a whole consultation you're doing right now. So people contact my sister. Her number right here. This is her direct cell phone. Text her 718. I mean, not 718, 770 861 9906. I don't want you to give off your whole consultation because
absolutely.
I got a few more questions to ask. And if you want to book a session with her and really intimate, because she's hardcore, she's direct, and she says what she mean what she says, and she ain't holding no
I'm
punches.
sweeter now. I'm sweeter now.
Yeah, whatever. Uh, that's what you say. And that's her email. If you want to email at healatlanta@gmail.com. That's also her PayPal and Cash App. You can hit her up at Cash App. That's $ readings for life.
Yes.
Man, let me see what Abundance Child said in there. What helped me with molestation, rape is tapping into my soul, karmic contract, and why I chose that path to evolve my
Mhm.
soul. Yes, we spoke about those contracts earlier about those karmic contracts. You were going in on it too before I text you Abundance because I keep on forgetting that Abundance that I need to text her and let her know that I'm on. Because she's one of the sponsors for my show and
Okay.
she's on here doing her thing. One before we get off, because we got like 47 minutes after the hour. We only a few more minutes before the
We're gonna
top
go
of the hour.
another hour, right?
We're gonna go till 10 o'clock. Stop playing.
Central Standard Time, right? So we got another hour, right?
We ain't got no. uh now one of the questions I have now this is with between bridging the gaps, the
Yeah.
generational gap between the I the ideals that the generational gap between in the consciousness between the young people, the young and the old, because I'm noticing that young people are disrespecting their elders as if they're never going to be elders themselves. And a lot of them are just transitioning earlier. Maybe they don't plan on being elders. But
Mhm.
how do we bridge that generational or that the ideological gaps
Mhm.
within the conscious community to create a more unified connection with each other as far as the old and the young, from your perspective, please?
This goes back to social media.
Mm.
And social media makes it okay. It's trends in
Mm-hmm.
disrespect and those types of things. And so I go back to the parents
Mm.
because, see, what you call cute
Mm.
is going to come back and haunt you.
Mm.
And the life that you live in front of your child, when they no longer have a fear of you, they're going to throw up in your face. I use this example often, and I'm probably going to offend some people, but I'm going to do it real sweetly. How is it possible that you are a woman who has children. I didn't say a lady. And you got men coming in your house, spending the night overnight. Your son is in the next room and he hears you moaning and making all types of noises. And then the dude leave before daylight. And your son is now supposed to be respectful toward you. In his heart, you've lost his respect. You got to understand that, because as your son, he is a natural protector. And I'm listening to my mama get banged out in the other room. Think about what that's doing to him psychologically. And your daughters. How you going to tell your daughter at 12, once she started her cycle, that she bet not sneak any boys in? And then she turns around and tell you, but mama, you got dudes coming in left and right. What are you going to say? So we've got to be super cognizant of the way we show up and set a standard of respect with our children. This will not be tolerated in my household. So this soft parenting era, I appreciate, but it has made some very soft children. Little boys that will sit in the car, mama's tire is flat, and he gonna just sit there and look crazy.
On his phone, at that, texting and
Get on your phone
rolling.
and go to YouTube and get your dear behind and
You wanna-
change your mama's tire.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have zero tolerance for sorry little boys because they become entitled, sorry men.
Exactly.
All I had in front of me were examples of outstanding, excellent men. That's it. So a sorry brother can't step to me. And a sorry little boy can't come nowhere around me at all. So it is the standard that you set. But social media has the little boy that just the little 18-year-old just got his tail shot to death, the little pale-skinned European boy, because he's knocking in and banging in somebody's door like he about to break in. That'll get you shot to death.
Yes.
And the brother did a boom, boom. So what we got to understand is, if you're allowing your child to be on social media half the day and playing video games the other half the day, their mind is programmed. So as far as respecting elders, and as an adult, you can't talk trash about your parents around your children, because then your children don't respect your parents and they won't respect you. If you got issues with your parents, you got issues with other adults, don't have that conversation around your children, because children don't know how to differentiate. Well, my mama don't like you and I don't like you either. And see, some of us are old school, and so we still backhand children.
Yes. Backhand and okay. It's 52 minutes after. We more likely gonna go over a little bit, but I have
Simon, let me see if I had a question.
I have more questions. If you got questions, please put it in the chat. You can put one question in the chat. I got one more question myself, but also, again, family, just want to remind everybody that tomorrow, we have B. Dell, the young man. B. Dell will be with us. Brother B. Dell will be on here, young, chosen, and in tune. And my dear sister, Miss Blue, will be in the building, the Soulful Oracle, on the 18th. And Tassili Ma'at will be in the building on May 20th. And my brother, Sharif Anail Bay, will be with us live and direct on the 27th. And, of course, big up to my girl, Abundance Child, in the chat, doing her thing. Of course, y'all know what it is. We do what we got to do over here. Now, and, of course, we have our sister, Dr. Alisha, in the building. Now, this question is going to be stemmed around this, that I'm about to share because this is hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Okay, before all right. Because you asked me a question before we came on, I think either yesterday or today, about this particular lady in New York now standing 12 feet tall. And I'm going to read what you said on your thing here on your this because this is your Instagram right here. It's your Instagram, and I went to it just to find out. But the question I do have, first and foremost, is what are some red flags to look out for when someone claims to be woke or enlightened in today's climate, especially with this statue over there on in Times Square off of 46th and 7th or 8th or one of them places? Let me read what you said first and foremost. How is it possible that ladies of New York, many of which went through sacred women, are not offended and protesting this horrible depiction of us as women in the middle of Times Square? She looks almost transgendered. No bra, no curves, nothing feminine at all. And yet she is the depiction of the original woman. A pale-skinned European woman would never have been depicted as a shapeless masculine dominant. This is a spit, a spit in the faces, in our faces. This is also programming. She looks defeated and undesirable. This is what our ladies are being programmed to become. I know some of you will say we should just be glad there is a sister in Times Square, but not a brother on this app would try to holler at this woman as their first choice over a beautiful copper-colored empress. To me, this is a purposeful diss, and they are permanently rewriting history in our faces. What are your thoughts? Go ahead about this. Go ahead. Talk about it, girl. Because let me say this first. Let me preface this. I went on Star and Buck Wild's show, Star Report, and I showed him this book by Barashango.
Yes, sir.
African Woman, the original Guardian Angels. And let me show you what else I showed them, my dear. What I told him about. Let me show you what I said they should have put on Times Square. I told them they should have put this picture up there on Times Square. This is what they shouldn't, with us pointing towards our ancestors or what. That's what they should have put on Times Square. That's what I told Star from Star Report. Big up to Star. He called me earlier. What you think about, of course, the question and red flags, of course, and this woke and enlightened so-called community today? Please. And that statue, because that's all tied in this. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's break it all the way down. And I feel some folk in their feelings already.
Of course,
so
they are.
Bring your feelings back and let's listen. Okay. This statue was created by a Black, gay, British man.
Right.
A Black, gay, British man. It's interesting because even when you look at the Cynthia chick who was in Wicked and who was Harriet Tubman, all these talented sisters in the United States got skipped over, and they go to Britain to go and get an Asiatic copper-colored woman to be Harriet Tubman, who has not lived this experience that we are having on Turtle Island. That was a diss. To get a feminine gay man from Britain to give us a depiction of a copper-colored woman, he has not lived our depiction. Let me tell you why I say it's a diss.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look at the Jewish man and the pale-skinned European man that also are on Times Square
Yep.
with her.
That's right. I know
Both
that.
of them are dressed up to the nine, three-piece suit, top hat, got a cane, looking all together.
Masonic.
And then you put the mother of civilization up there. You got her on with no bra. You got her pants so tight that people can see her camel toe.
Mm.
You have her shapeless. You would not have put a pale-skinned European woman up there looking defeated like a factory worker.
Mm-hmm.
What he did was he took every negative stereotype about sisters.
Mm.
He didn't have her in a dress because the men are dressed classy.
Right.
But then you say you have an opportunity to represent copper-colored women, and you got us up there with a bad set of braids, no jewelry whatsoever, no earrings, no necklace, no bracelet, no rings, just plain. And she's a contrast to those pale-skinned European men? No. Look how they have her depicted. She's braless, which means she's what? Unsupported.
Mm.
And that is the depiction of the Asiatic woman. She's unsupported. She's just out here on her own. There is nothing feminine about this depiction of this sister that was purposely done. It's only going to be up till June 17th, and it's up there now. Everybody that visits Times Square, this is what they see. She's got her hands on her hip. She's got an attitude. So what does that show? That is the angry, strong, black, independent woman. This was a diss. If you're going to have somebody representing an Asiatic queen, because the men are dressed up, why is she not? Why is she not in regal attire? Why not make her look like a queen so she would be the equivalence of the men that are there? Why you got her looking like an around the way girl? There's no respect in this. She looks hard.
Looking for food stamps.
It is just because she doesn't represent sisters.
Mm-hmm.
She does not represent the excellence that we embody. And so, yes, because again, and the sisters from New York, oh, well, you know, that's how we dress. You don't walk around braless. You don't.
I mean, this is a new consciousness now, girl. This is the new consciousness, the new stuff. I'm trying to tell you. That's why I asked that question. You know, red flags. It's one of the red flags. Somebody who claims to be woke and enlightened, because some woke and enlightened people are supporting this.
They are, and they're touched. So look at this. What I can tell you, Simon, you're a full-grown man.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw that, and then you saw somebody as beautiful as me,
right?
Which would you be attracted to?
Someone as beautiful as you.
Absolutely. Because I have curves and I look like a lady. Okay. So you ain't got to look like me, but you are absolutely, if you're going to depict a beautiful Asiatic woman, a copper-colored queen, let her reflect that she is the mother of civilization. How do you have her sitting up looking like this, and you got a 12 feet tall. So this was a 12-foot disc. And so you have a lot of so-called conscious people. We need to just be glad they included us. You sound stupid.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. And I was like, the first thing I said, I was like, why couldn't they? Why they? First of all, why didn't you put the man and the woman there together?
Right. She's all by herself.
Alone, by herself, and without support, and brawless. And it looked like she got
walking around looking like that.
I wonder if he's depicting people that's in London. And if you are from the UK, you can call in too, or you can cam up.
And what he needs to do is put that in the UK. But see, you remember, I do retreats in Manchester. That's not what the sisters look like over there. They just they are beautiful. So it's just like, what are you? What that? And so what they did, they always get one of us in order to diss us. So of all of the copper-colored sculptors in the United States, you got to go all the way to Britain to get somebody who's not having our experience to sit up and make a woman that does not represent us. There is nothing lady about that chick.
Now, Alisha, what do you say about, because we can go to the history of the bra, and our original people did not wear bra. They wear things that did heist it up or had their own their own things that knew how to, formulate certain materials that make it look like it's boosted. What do you say about the women that have probably trained their family members and their daughters not to wear bra? Because remember, there was a whole thing against bras and brassieres back in the day because white folks are making a whole bunch of money from it and all that. What do you say about women that still keep that African tradition of just knowing how to accentuate their bosoms and their breasts in a way that will still show that this is an indigenous or an African woman? What would you say about that?
Harness your titties.
I mean, they know how to do it. They know how to hook up their clothes.
I don't care if you got an African bra on, American Indian bra on, but put them titties up and harness them instead of just leaving them hanging. Because if somebody's son come up and grab it because it's flopping around in the wind, then you're going to say it wrong. The clothes don't fit right when the titties is just put the titties up. And yes, I know Oprah said, "Oh, I'm against bras," but baby, Oprah wears a bra. She knows she better. She'll make somebody blind.
They said the bra was invented by Mary Phelps Jacob in 1913, and the bras originate traced back to ancient Greek and Rome.
Yes.
That's what, according to what they're saying online here, it goes back to 1913, and then Henry S. Lesher in 1855 enhanced the cleavage of the bra, and more white folks making more money. That's all that is.
You should definitely, when you're at home, not have on bras. And I respect Abundance Child has her daughters running around with no bras on. I respect that.
Right.
That's what she has chosen to do, and that's perfect. And now, do they do the African harness, or they're just going free?
I mean, I'm sure she trained her because they do head wraps. I know they do head wraps.
Yeah,
but again,
got some type of training or something.
I mean, they burnt up bras. They burnt bras back in the day. I remember that back in the day, and I think they did it in one of those stadiums. They took all these bras and just
they did. They definitely burned them.
I remember that.
I mean, as a man, Simon, if nipples are jumping out at you and titties are moving, it's gonna be a little difficult for you to just be looking somebody in their eyes and you got nipples sitting there like, "Hello, Simon, here I am. Speak to me."
Back in my club day, I call that feeding time. When I was in the club, y'all feeding me today because I was a breast man since I was a child. She said, "I don't wear a bra." Hey.
Okay.
That's it. No, she trained her daughters that way. That's what But again, I see where you're coming from and what kind of, we are free.
You don't wear anything. You just put a shirt on, nipples and everything free like that, or do you have a shirt or something up under them? I'm serious.
Right, burning.
I want to see this.
Yeah, but back in the 70s, they did the whole burn the bra thing. I remember that. Yeah, back in the 70s, burning the bra, 1960s, 60s, women, especially white women. White women started burning the bra.
Well, white women really didn't have breasts. That's
Yeah.
why you got all the implants and everything. Because if
Right.
you darn near flat chested, you know.
Right. But I see where you're coming from. Somebody said we're perverted in the West. 600 years, breasts weren't that sexualized. That's true. It wasn't that sexualized back in the day.
My breast healthy,
Get my
but
breast-
okay, yeah, they were natural fabrics. Okay.
Okay, it is. So, but all right, that was it. That was the last question, and it kind of went.
I'm sure more people have questions. Simon.
Well, no, hey, now I'm not staying here another hour. I'm just gonna let you know that. That's what we do. But she said, but I understand. All right, that's good. They get it. Everybody have their choice and their opinion. This day and time, this is what it is.
Absolutely.
Again, this is a new conscience.
You should be free. You should. I don't definitely. I mean, you run around. I know women that still wear bras at home.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's bondage right there. That's absolute bondage.
Right. Let it free. Well, there's a time to wear it and a time not to wear it. That's
right. I don't agree with panties. Now I'm 100% anti-panty. Let it breathe, for God's sake.
Yeah, let the poom poom breathe, yo. There it is. Please let the poom poom breathe. Oh, that should be a new reggae song. Let me give that to Vibes Cartel. He might do it for me. Let the poom poom breathe. And I see where she's coming from. Again, there's a time. If you're going to go out in corporate America, they're going to look for that. You got to keep your bra, come on, stop playing around. But if you're going to go out in your backyard, your house, and loosen up. Keep it all loose. Hey, I enjoy it. That's my thing. Yeah, great show. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, buddies. Yo, we got again, family. Let me just give you all of our information. Anything you got coming up, my dear? Anything they need to look out for as far as any programs or what they can call you or text you about or whatever?
Yeah, they can reach out. We'll be doing a lot of online retreats as well as in person at our new facility in Tennessee. So super excited about that. And I've had some invites to come on back to New York and do some things as well. So want to help the sisters to heal up there. It's time. It's time for the healing to actually come in, for us to learn how to be ladies again.
Yes.
Because you want to be treated like a lady, but you want to show up like a woman. And let's let all that masculine, that all that hair under your chin, let that go.
And on their back.
Simon, if you dealing with some of them folk with hair on their back,
like Busta Rhymes says, shave it off. Because
we need to talk.
Because to Busta Rhymes, you got hair on your chest and your back, shave it off. Yow. All right. So again, you can support her via PayPal at that email right there, healatlanta@gmail.com, or you can email her too also. And Cash App is $readings for life. And this has been another episode, the 10th episode of today's consciousness. My dear Alisha, Dr. Alisha, thank you very much for being here.
Love to Abundance Child. We will have a ball, sis. Please reach out.
Yeah.
I also do readings. If you are in a relationship, considering a relationship, before you even, if somebody give you their number, you need to get a reading before you can see. When a man speaks in your ear, sis, he's planting seeds in your ear. A lot of us have hooked up with ugly men that would never have been able to get with us because he planted seeds in your ears. If he can get into your ears, he can get between your legs. Yeah. And then you make a child with 3 eyes and you like, why my little girl got 3 eyes going across her head, right? Well, now you didn't pay attention that had 3 eyes going to grow. Right?
He grew a whole uh,
Okay.
over it.
Got a unibrow and 3
Unibrow over it. Uh, yo, this has been fun. Thank you very much, my dear. And we will talk. We will talk. I want to thank you very much again. And we will talk. All right. All right.
Indeed.
All
Indeed.
right. And have a safe trip to Tennessee as you making your move down there and, over there. And enjoy. All right. Make sure you know the weather patterns out them areas. All right. Don't mess up.
Because we got real tornadoes out there. Like
Exactly. Make sure you know their weather patterns over there. Make sure they build, Abundance. You should get on your show. She got a nice radio show up there. So big up to Abundance Child Radio Show on WJVS Radio, man. And that's the number. That's the number you can contact her on. You can text her right now if y'all want to talk to each other. Just text each other 770-861-9906. That's 770-861-9906. Dr. Alisha, thank you very much for coming on and being a part of this journey. All right. One love, peace and love. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give her a round of applause, family. Let me give her a round of applause, man. Let me find my applause button. Oh my gosh. This was hilarious, but informative. I learned that through the years. If you're going to do a program, be informative and be interesting. That's the best thing. Even comedians learned that. I learned that from Ali Sadiq. Ali Sadiq said that too, and he said that, and I said, you know what? That's what we was taught back in radio day. Be informative, but be interesting in whatever we do. So, I like to have fun. It is what it is, and remember, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow will always a day away. Got Brother Bedell coming in tomorrow. Brother Bedell will be with us. We gonna go in young, chosen, and in tune. Not young, gifted, and black. We ain't singing that. That's Nina Simone. But we gonna sing young, chosen, and in tune. Because he ain't into that black talk either. He about that melanin talk. He about that indigenous talk. Big up to him. On the 18th, we got Miss Blue. She gonna be coming in with the fire. I got some questions for her. Boy, Lord have mercy. And we got, of course, Tassili Ma'at coming in also on today's consciousness. And then we got Brother Sharif Anail Bey. Sifu. He's Sifu. He's also a Kung Fu master himself. So big up to him and what he does. Abundance Child Radio Show, WJVS Radio every Thursday. Make sure you shout that out and go and check it out at 8 p.m. Malcolm X Tribute, 60th annual pilgrimage to the Malcolm X funeral gravesite. And they're going to be celebrating their his 100th birthday. Malcolm X will be 100. My goodness. Man, that's deep. And if you're into martial arts like I am into martial arts, this is my brother Hassan Khalik. Soke Hassan Khalik, man, have trained with so many people. And he's going to be doing it in New York and Flushing. Big up to him. It's going to be in Flushing, Queens over there, or Flushing, New York at the Sheraton LaGuardia. If I'm there in time, I'll definitely go to the banquet and go hang out and see what it's all about and go have some fun with my brothers and sisters that's going to be there. It's going to be powerful. But the banquet is taking place on the 14th. If I can make it there, I might not make it that early. I might be coming in like the day after, 2 days after, but it is what it is. Also, don't forget June 22nd, I'll be in New York at LIU. Make sure you call the number, Brother Shabazz. It's 347-683-8122. That's 347-683-8122. You can scan the QR code. Adinka Butler, Teferu, Azar, Black Dot, Brother King Simon, and also Baba Ifa Kunle. I have opening up for me in my segment. Paris Williams will be with me live and direct. Paris Williams, beautiful sister. She got some books out, and I want to make sure I support those books. And let me see here. Okay, hold on. I ain't finished yet. Nina Dunham's publication is on the hook. She got a lot of good publications. She's not only the mother of Aquarius Maximus, but she also is the writer of these books, 52 Mirrors. 52 Mirrors, the Jack amongst us non-binary neural divergence and necessary. Also, Queen's Code within him, a divine feminine blueprint men were born to carry and the world forgot to honor. Wow. Make sure you go to 11university.com or you can call her at that number. That's 470-775-6434. Man, that's going to be good. Make sure you check her out. My class, my courses are split in half. It's cut in half. It's usually $444. It is only $222 all the way till May 19th for Malcolm X's birthday. Also, my cousin on my father's side, Grace Jones. Big up to Grace Jones. That's her birthday too. And book a session with me. Text me at 347-496-1022. Everybody that books a session for me from now on will either get volume 1 or volume 2 of my ebook, Spiritual Lessons by King Simon. And my third one just came out on May 11th, Numerovational Spiritual Lessons with numerovational information. My book's on Amazon. Big up to myself on Amazon. You know we doing it. Lloyd Strayhorn, hit him up also on his website. And remember, he got an app called A Star 8. Very informative app, straight to the point. Astronumerology app. I'm developing my app also, but it's going to be numerovation all day, every day. We know how we do. And big up to Color Curiosity, one of my moderators, Holistic Interior Design. Big up to her, Feng Shui and Per-Unk Your Life, like Dr. Africa taught, Per-Unking your wardrobe and a color specialist. And big up to Adara Moselle. Big up to Adara Moselle doing her thing at adaramoselle.com. Very good tantrika. She's very good at what she does. She studied under Master Yao and various others. She's been doing it. I think she also studied a little bit with Nit Yama. Woo, Nit Yama. I remember when Nit Yama met Alisha one time. That was so funny. Dr. Alisha. Almost got her in trouble. That was hilarious. And big up to Dr. Shakira Moore, iridologist, teacher, and spiritual guide. Make sure you hit her up. Her new book is called The Iris Papers. And big up to my son all the time. He got his studio called Green Studio NYC. Shout him out. Enough love. Remember what Dr. B says. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I'm thankful for my life. Remember what my late, great elder Dr. Blair used to say. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Family, I'm so glad we had this time together. That's right, on today's consciousness. Again, I want to thank Dr. Alisha Kier for coming in and spreading love all over the place in her own way. Family, remember, I love you because I love me. Take care of yourself. Be safe. Be great. One love. Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's consciousness. Today's consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's Consciousness. What happened and how can we change it?